welcome if you're new here. Today I'm carrying on where I left off last week. I'll link that video up here for you if you haven't checked it out. We're discussing the switch from conventional personal care products that you use in your face or your body, to more natural, all natural, or products that I deem to be the more sustainable option. I have been on what I refer to as my sustainability journey for 3 years now. It's my disclaimer, this is not the universal truth. This is my experience. I share what I do and what I learned. Please take what serves you and leave what doesn't serve you.
In last week's video, if you haven't checked that out, I started with where to begin, or where I began, and I spoke a little bit about my journey with nail polish, and then I started ranking product groups from what I deem to be the easiest switch to then maybe more medium difficulty to kind of very difficult. And if you'll remember, we discussed body wash and soap, body moisturizer, tooth stuff, and oral hygiene, and then ended off with deodorant.
Editing that video, I realized I forgot to discuss one kind of cool element of body wash and soap, and that is what you use to apply the body wash and soap. Pre-sustainability journey, to apply my soap or my body wash, I used this. It still looks brand new because I haven't used it much in the last 3 years, and it is made of plastic, so I will not be purchasing it again or replacing it. Ian and I both received natural loofahs as gifts. This is my natural loofah, and this is Ian's natural loofah. When they are dry, they're pretty hard. These are moist from being used earlier today. But then when you wet them, they become very soft, and the amount of lather will depend on the soap or the body wash that you used. We discussed that in the previous video. But yeah, they work pretty well, and they're actually just from a plant. Like, this is just a piece of plant that is cut off and I think dried out. So these loofahs are a pretty cool natural alternative to using this if you want a bit of an exfoliation or you like to use something to apply your body wash. I also found that these guys work just fine for me most of the time. The other two kind of natural sustainable things that I have is this guy. This is a dry brush. Unfortunately, I left this in the bathroom and it was used to clean the toilet. I don't use this actual dry brush on my body anymore. I did just place an order for a new one. And the other product is this kind of natural baggie where you put, when the soap becomes little, you put it in here, and you can just use this as a loofah with all the bits of soap inside of it. Took a quick iced coffee making break, and we are back to our list. Still on what I deem to be quite difficult switches. And this next one, I'm going to say, is down to maybe personal experience, but I actually think that maybe most people will find this difficult. I don't know, let me know if your experience differs from mine in the comments below. The main reason I'm calling it more difficult is because I went through quite a lot of products to find the one that I was finding like, yes, this is what works for me. So I have very oily skin, and Ian has quite dry, eczema-prone skin. And with this category, we went through so many products that we spent quite a lot on what we refer to as R&D. That's a really nice way of saying we spent money on products that didn't work for us. And this category is face stuff. I'm hesitant to blame the difficulty on it being natural products because with my conventional face products, I also went through a lot of different brands to find what eventually worked for me, and eventually I settled on Dermalogica. So another reason that I'm very hesitant to blame it on the fact that it's natural products to say this is why it's difficult is because at the beginning of my sustainability journey, or quite soon into it, I decided that I no longer wanted to take the contraceptive pill that I was taking daily. Having been on it for about 5-6 years naturally, and this doesn't happen to everybody who comes off the pill, but it did happen to me. As I came off, my body was adjusting and healing from, you know, all the things that I had done through my lifestyle and diet that were quite not so great. And I did start to get acne, and hormonal acne specifically around this area. But I look at acne is that it is my body talking to me. It is my body telling me about something that's going on inside. So I don't have a goal to suppress my acne per se, because otherwise I won't know whether the things that I'm doing in my lifestyle or diet are actually making a difference to my hormonal health. However, there are certain products that I use that genuinely aggravated the problem that I was already having. For the last 3 years, I used a lot of different face products, and Ian as well, And I used expensive ones, I used cheaper ones, I used medium ones, I used ones I made. It was a struggle. And eventually, only 7 months ago, I finally found a face product that I'm like, yes, works for all of my sustainability values. Their products come in glass, they are locally sourced, they are organic, and they work for my skin. Now, I'm not promoting this product at all because I understand personal journeys, different skin types, but having had the struggle, I was like, yes. Product range that I found was S. I started out with only 1 or 2 of their products, but now I do have their cleanser, exfoliator, moisturizer, and then this Resurrect serum that's made from the Resurrect plant found in Namibia. And I think I have, yeah, their sunscreen and their foundation as well. Mental health is still a journey, and I am not immune to getting acne, although over the last 3 years and everything that I've done diet and lifestyle wise has significantly improved my skin condition. I still do every now and again get hormonal spots that are quite maybe painful or very inflamed. I do use a cream that kind of helps the healing along, and that is this random thing that I bought in a random health shop. I just put a tiny bit on the spot itself. I love the pure ingredients of this. It does come in plastic, but you use like a tiny bit on the spot. I've also used it on ingrown hairs, and I was like, yes, okay. Now, in this list of S products, I didn't mention a pre-cleanse, but I used to use a pre-cleanse bar from Dermalogica, and the natural alternative that I would suggest to that is using an oil for a pre-cleanse, if obviously pre-cleanse is your thing, which I think people who wear a lot of makeup, it is quite helpful, or at least I find it to be helpful. Okay, I'm nervous because it's going to be embarrassing for me because I have mispronounced this particular oil so often in my journey that I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to put it up on the screen. This is the oil that I think is the best natural alternative to use as a pre-cleanse oil. So when I first started, you can see it up, I used to refer to this as Jobaba. Now obviously that is incorrect if you look at the spelling of that. And then for a very long time, up until probably about yesterday, I referred to this as Jojoba, which I also recently found out is incorrect. And then I thought, and I heard somebody say it is Yoyoba, and I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds correct as well. But prior to making this video, I googled it because I was like a little bit hesitant to talk about it and then mispronounce it. And when I googled it, it is, according to Google, pronounced as jojoba. Who would have thought? Okay, so jojoba oil is, in my opinion, a great pre-cleanse oil. So you just put this when you've got all your makeup on, you put this on your skin. I still have my silicone kind of cleansy thingy. I don't know what you call this. I still have it from Dermalogica. It's made of silicone that when I put my pre-cleanse oil on, I just and then you wash it off, and then you wash your face off. Cleanse is not your thing, and you remove your makeup using like a makeup remover that you put on cotton pads, that single-use cotton pads that you then just wipe it off, or if you use a toner that you put on a cotton pad and wipe it off. Although those are made of cotton, so technically they should degrade, I think there's a lot of chemicals in them and bleaches and things that I didn't want to expose my skin to, and I try to avoid single use as far as possible. I elicited the help of others because I cannot sew, and as like a fun DIY thing, we made these things. They are an old towel that I was no longer using, sewn onto offcuts. And for probably now 2.5 years, these have been my sustainable alternative to single-use cotton rounds or cotton pads. I did show that for my pre-cleanser, I have this silicone kind of brush thing that I use, very soft on my skin. I like it a lot. Ian's skin is extra sensitive, so he's very particular about what he uses on his skin or what he uses to touch his skin. And what we found works the best for him was actually these reusable wipes that I bought. This is made of hemp, and these have been super soft on his skin. He uses them as face cloths. Now, in an ideal world, I wouldn't discuss this next thing, but we're keeping it real. Sometimes I'm a little lazy to remove my makeup. I use these. They are biodegradable organic wipes. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I have them in my car. I have them around the house just in case, and they go straight into our composting bin when I'm done using them. They're also one of my favorite baby shower gifts. So at some point I'll still make a video about like sustainable baby gifts I love to give, but this is right up there at the top. So I know it looks like I use quite a lot of face products, and if you're coming here and you're like, this doesn't seem natural at all, I get it, I do. I use a lot less than I used to, and I have switched over to products that I deem to be a lot more sustainable. Previously, all of my face products came in single-use plastic. Now most of my face products are in glass. They're also, previously I used to use international brands, whereas now I use local brands, locally sourced, and I understand the values of the company and things like that. So in an ideal world, yeah, I probably wouldn't use any face products or any type of moisturizer or creams or things like that. And I do know a lot of people who are on the more natural journey or the internal healing journeys, and they don't use any products, or they use minimal products on their skin because their main priority is to heal the body from the inside. And that is also my priority, and I have a lot of respect for people who choose not to use any products. That is by far the most sustainable option for sure. I think if I was still living on a farm or in a remote area, or if I didn't wear makeup, then I would probably also choose to not really use any face products. Currently, I still do wear makeup, and with my lifestyle, I do travel, and South Africa's air is pretty clean, relatively clean, and we do have air filters in our home and things like that, but I'm still frequently exposed to air pollutants and car fumes and things like that, that I believe that I want to cleanse my skin from these external things that are coming onto it. I'm all for healing from the inside out. I just also like to assist my body with whatever environmental factors I'm exposing it to. I'm big on not saying I'm never going to do something, so maybe I will progress to a space where I don't use any makeup or I don't use any facial products, but where I am in my sustainable journey right now, from using conventional, in my opinion, not the most sustainable face product, to becoming a lot more sustainable with my face products. And that includes the products that I use, as well as the products that I use to apply the products that I use. I was going to talk about sunscreen in this video as well, but I feel like it's getting a bit long, and I'll stand that off until next week. Still to come is sunscreen, makeup, hair, period products. I'm not sure what else. Let me know if you think of something else. Comment down below what other natural switches you want to see me discuss in the upcoming videos, and I'm going to cut this off today. Thank you for being here. Remember to like and subscribe. That is very helpful for me. I will see you next week with the next lifestyle video, or on Thursday if you like my employment relations videos.